The Princess Situation Part 2. The Aurelia Kingdom is the strongest kingdom of human race. On the glorious continent, the kingdom's people lived a very prosperous life and were on good terms with a neighboring kingdom. Inside the golden castle, in an elegant-looking room, a girl with a beautiful beauty that would fascinate all men who saw her was swaying her legs while humming happily. She looked up at the ceiling with a big smile and blush on her face. Knock, knock, knock. There was a knock on the door, followed by a man's voice. Freya, can I come in? The one who knocked on the door and spoke was Leonida Aurora, the king of Aurelia Kingdom, and the father of Princess Freya. Come in, father. I didn't lock the door. Princess Freya quickly got up and then sat down on her bed. King Leonida entered her room and sat on a chair near the bed. Did I interrupt your break? King Leonida asked with an elegant attitude. He had golden hair, similar to Princess Freya, but it was relatively short and well groomed. Even though he is already 60 years old, he still looks young and strong because he is also the strongest knight in Aurelia Kingdom, and one of the strongest and glorious continents. Of course not, father. Is there anything you need from me? Princess Freya shook her head and asked softly. It's about a masked butler. Do you know nothing about him other than what you told me? King Leonida asked with a serious face, and looked directly into her daughter's eyes. I don't know anything else, father. I don't know much about him either. I got to know him during the servant selection event in the Argent Kingdom, and we didn't talk much at that time. Princess Freya spoke honestly, and there was a bit of disappointment on her face. But why do I feel like there's something else you haven't told me yet? King Leonida narrowed his eyes at Princess Freya. He felt that his daughter still had something to hide. He wondered what Princess Freya would say as an excuse this time. That's just your feelings, father. How's mother's current condition? Princess Freya smiled playfully and divided the conversation. Princess Freya's mother had been sick since last month. She was a magic queen and one of the strongest mages in Aurelia Kingdom. She often suddenly fell ill like that, but it wouldn't last long. Until her condition recovered, the royal mages still don't know the cause, even though they have checked on her repeatedly. Alright then. It has been quite painful to see her like this. I won't force you if you don't want to be honest. Your mother's condition is much better. It won't be long before she fully recovers. The king Leonida couldn't help but sigh heavily after seeing his daughters unwilling to tell him the truth. Thank God, I hope mother can be healed soon. Princess Aisha breathed a sigh of relief after she heard her father answer. He was also grateful that his father didn't ask more about Zeal. If her father kept pushing her, Princess Freya would have to say everything she knew. I hope so too. Freya, how are your preparations for the opening of Pigmentia Grand Academy next year? Even if you are a member of the royal family, you still have to register and take the academy entrance test like everyone else. King Leonida brought up the topic of 5 Kingdoms projects. You don't have to worry, father. I have prepared myself after all. There is still a year left. I will try to form my 5th magic circle and become a mage master. Princess Freya smiled and said confidently, Good. You can make a shame of the name of our kingdom. Show the others that you are the strongest kingdom of human race on the glorious continent. King Leonida nodded in satisfaction after hearing his daughter's answer. I will do my best, father. Princess Aisha said excitedly at the first sentence, but lowered her voice at the last sentence. She also answered him thoughtfully, with the smile sweetly at the end. Well, King Leonidas suddenly released his aura of pressure. He subconsciously lost control of his power after hearing Princess Freya's words. He is nobody. I was talking nonsense before. Princess Freya smiled playfully and found an excuse to lie to her father. King Leonida glared at his daughter, but then he could only sigh after seeing Princess Freya smile and retract the pressure. Alright, you can continue your break. I will go to see your mother and check her condition again. King Leonida got up from his seat and walked out of Princess Freya's room. But before the door was closed, he stopped. Freya, if you feel there's something you want to talk to me about, please let me know right away. King Leonida closed the door and left the room without waiting for Princess Freya's response. Yes, father. I'll say it if I think it's necessary. Please convey my regards to mother. Princess Freya answered father loudly and hoped that her father would hear it. Not long after, Princess Freya buried herself again in her bed. Then she remembered when she was 6 years old. It was the beginning of her friendship with Princess Aisha, and a dream that came from a prophecy. At the time, she walked the street in the city with Ariana as her guardian knight. She ran here and there out of curiosity about that she saw, but she finally realized that she got lost in the crowd and separated from Ariana. After walking for quite a while, Princess Freya accidentally arrived in an empty house at the end of the road. An old man was sitting in a rocking chair with his eyes closed. But when Princess Freya passed in front of the house, the old man suddenly opened his eyes. At first, Princess Freya didn't care about him and just passed in front of his place. But she stopped after hearing what the old man said. Princess Freya, Aurelia, do you want to see your destiny? The old man did not speak with his mouth, but directly into Princess Freya's mind. Princess Freya trembled in fear and ran as fast as she could to leave the place. The Princess Situation 3. Princess Freya wanted to leave the place immediately because she senses that old man was very dangerous. Since childhood, she had been very sensitive to such feeling, although there was no malicious intent from the old man. She could feel the need to stay away from the person. But the Princess Freya suddenly stopped running after hearing the old man's next words. You have nothing to fear, Princess Freya. If I want to do evil things to you, it will be very easy. And I've been doing it since the first time I met you. I called you because I want to give you my prophecy for free. Think of it as fate, because you have met me. The old man looked towards Princess Freya. His eyes were soft like a grandfather who loved his granddaughter. What do you mean by my destiny? Is that my death, or something else? Princess Freya asked fearfully as she approached the old man. Not something like that, but about someone who is destined to be your prince in the future. The old man smiled in response to Princess Freya's request. My prince? Who is the person destined for me? Is he handsome? Is he strong? Princess Freya showed the old man with questions. She became excited after hearing that person's words. Princess Freya often read a love story about a prince and princess, so when she heard it was related to her prince, she couldn't help but get excited. Yes, that's how it is. The old man nodded slightly. So what's he like? When I'm going to meet him? Princess Freya kept interrogating the old man. Please calm down, Princess Freya. If you ask what his face looked like, I don't know because I can't see him clearly. How and when you can meet her? You mustn't befriend the silver-haired princess from the neighboring kingdom. He will lead you to the prince of your destiny. The old man explained to Princess Freya. Huh? And how do I recognize him if I don't know his face? Princess Freya tilted her head, confused at the old man's words. You'll find out when you look directly into his eyes. The old man smiled and said nothing else. Princess Freya was still confused by his words and wanted to ask again, but was interrupted by someone's voice behind her. Princess? Ariana shouted while running towards her. Arya? Princess Freya was about to ask where she had gone, then they separated, but Arya cut her off first. Princess, are you okay? Where are you? I'm afraid to see your silly disappear from my sight. I might be sentenced to death if you disappeared. Ariana kept talking while crying. Princess Freya could see the mixed expression on Ariana's beautiful face. Right now, she looked sad and angry, scared and worried at the same time. Sorry. Princess Freya felt guilty to see Ariana crying like that. It's okay, Princess. The important thing is that I found you. By the way, what are you doing in this place, Princess? Ariana wiped away her tears and asked Princess Freya. I asked. When Princess Freya turned around, the old man was no longer here and there. Ariana was confused when she saw Princess Freya pointed to an empty spot. What? Princess Freya was surprised that there was nothing there. What's the wrong, Princess? Ariana was even more confused after seeing Princess Freya suddenly started like that. Arya, didn't you see an old man there? Princess Freya pointed to where the old man was before. There's no one there here, Princess. When I came here, I just saw you standing alone in this place. Oriana shook her head and said what she saw before to Princess Freya. It's weird. I'm sure I was talking to him before he was an old man who could predict the future. Princess Freya muttered softly, that only she could hear him. Did you not see wrong, Princess, or maybe you're hallucinating? Oriana asked worriedly after hearing Princess Freya's words. He thought Princess Freya was hallucinating from the fear of being left alone in a place she didn't know. No way. I'm sure I've seen and talked to him here. He was sitting in that rocking chair. Princess Freya pointed at the rocking chair that looked dusty. Alright, Princess, we'll talk about that later. But now we better hurry back to the castle. I'm afraid your majesty is worried because you haven't returned yet. Ariana didn't want to linger in that place and wanted to bring Princess Freya back to the castle quickly. Alright. Princess Freya reluctantly returned to the castle because Ariana had her father's name in her words. She was still curious about the meaning of the old man's last words. Princess Freya occasionally looked back, but the old man had completely disappeared without a trace. No longer after Princess Freya and Ariana left that place, the old man reappeared in the same place. He had been chatting with Princess Freya before. He suddenly appeared out of thin air. "I can't wait to see your future." The old man laughed while looking at Princess Freya in the distance. Then his figure blurred and disappeared again from the place. Back when Freya was burying herself in her bed, she turned around and looked up at the ceiling. She finally understood the meaning of the old man's words. When she looked into Zeal's eyes, Princess Freya could see Zeal's eyes during the servant selection event, because Zeal closed his eyes and his mask was removed. But Princess Freya, could see Zeal's eyes directly during the accident and the Argent Kingdom. At the moment she felt her body shaking with joy and her heart pounding wildly. She seems to have found her soulmate and wants to be with him forever. Princess Freya evidently didn't know what she was feeling at the time because she had never fell in love. But when Princess Freya recalled the words of the old man she had met when she was a child, she understood that she had found his destiny. Then Princess Freya watched Zeal fight against 2 gods and fight tens of thousands of magical beasts alone. In her eyes at that time, Zeal was not a prince to her, but a god she worshipped. She is willing to offer her body and soul to Zeal, a prince destined for her. Prince Freya felt delighted, because the person destined for her was an amazing man. "I finally found you, the prince of my destiny." Princess Freya smiled beautifully and blushed when she thought of Zeal. Right now, Princess Freya looked like a girl in love. "I'm sorry, Aisha. Since you can't take care of him, I will do it for you. Because from the start, he was the prince of my destiny." Princess Freya's beautiful smile suddenly turned into an evil smile.